Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive.
Yeah.
Hey, listeners are always asking us to
Yeah.
dig deeper into specific topics, and this one,
Yeah.
we got a lot of requests for this one.
Yeah.
It is all about giving your immune system a boost
Right.
and building resilience against illness.
Love it.
So we've got for this deep dive, we've got some cutting edge scientific articles. We've got research reviews that span various fields,
Excellent.
and we've got some practical advice as well.
Sounds like we've got all our bases covered.
Absolutely. So let's kick things off by talking about the immune system, just as a refresher. It's so amazing and complex, this system.
Yeah.
What's your take on it?
I think it's helpful to think of the immune system as a fortress that's constantly defending against invaders.
Oh.
And you've got different players, like cells, processes, all working together to keep you healthy.
I love that image. And like
Yeah.
any good fortress, sometimes ours needs a little reinforcement, right?
So, let's look at some of the science behind boosting your immune system. One of the articles we dug into had this really fascinating and slightly alarming fact about macrophages, which are those like essential immune cells
Oh, yeah.
that are like the first responders to an attack.
Right. Macrophages are key. They're like the detectives of our immune system. They're constantly on patrol, identifying threats and presenting them to other immune cells to trigger a response.
Exactly. But here's the kicker. They get a bit slower with age.
That's right. You know how sometimes it feels like you just can't shake off a cold as easily as you used to? Well, it turns out that as we age, our macrophages aren't as good at recognizing and presenting new threats.
Really?
And it's because their ability to express something called MHC2 and TLR decreases,
Okay.
which basically means they have a harder time sounding the alarm when a new virus or bacteria enters your body, and because of that, they produce less interleukin-7, which is a crucial signal that helps your immune system learn to recognize and fight off those new threats. So aging macrophages might be part of the reason why we seem to get sick more easily as we get older.
Could be.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we can't completely stop the clock.
Yeah.
But what about things we can control, like our diet?
Nutrition is absolutely fundamental.
Yeah, the research we looked at really hammered home the point that what we eat plays a huge role in immune health.
And it's not just about avoiding junk food. We're talking about a complex interplay between nutrition, inflammation, and oxidative stress, all of which influence how well our immune system functions.
One of the things that really stuck with me from the research was how insufficient protein can actually hinder antibody production.
Wow.
Our immune system needs the building blocks to create those antibodies.
Right.
Those little soldiers that fight off infection.
A great analogy. And those soldiers also need the right fuel to function optimally.
Speaking of fuel, let's raid the pantry and create the ultimate immune-boosting shopping list.
Ooh, I like this.
First up, vitamin E. We've got almonds, sunflower seeds, even blueberries, all great sources of vitamin E. What's so special about this vitamin?
Well, studies show that those almonds and sunflower seeds you mentioned can actually improve your body's ability to fight off viruses, especially as you get older.
Oh.
Remember those aging macrophages we talked about?
Yeah.
Vitamin E can give them a helping hand.
Nice. So it's like a double whammy for immune support as we age. What else should we add to our list?
Next up, the classic vitamin C.
All right.
Oranges, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, all good sources.
Yeah.
Vitamin C helps shorten colds and reduce infection risk.
We can't forget about vitamin D, right?
Of course not. Sunshine is the best source. But fish eggs, fortified milk, and mushrooms can also contribute.
Yeah.
Yes, vitamin D is essential for supporting T-cell function. Those T-cells are like the special forces of your immune army, seeking out and destroying infected cells.
And zinc is another powerhouse.
Absolutely.
Pumpkin seeds, nuts, beef, and shellfish are all good sources.
Zinc is involved in so many immune processes, cytokine production, and even has antimicrobial properties. It's like a multi-tool for your immune system.
Multi-tools are always good. What about selenium? I remember reading that sunflower seeds are a great source.
They are. Selenium plays a role in antioxidant defense and may even have antiviral effects.
Okay, so we've got vitamin E, C, D, zinc, selenium. What am I missing?
Probiotics.
All right.
The research highlighted their importance. A large meta-analysis suggested they may help reduce infection risk, specifically mentioning ventilator-associated pneumonia.
Wow.
You can find them naturally in fermented foods like yogurt and sauerkraut, or you can take a supplement.
Fascinating. Probiotics almost feel like bringing in reinforcements from the outside.
That's a good way to think about it. And then we have polyphenols,
Yes.
those powerful antioxidants found in colorful fruits, vegetables, and even tea.
Right. They're also linked to a healthy gut microbiome, which we'll get to in a bit. Speaking of which, we can't forget dietary fiber.
Ah, yes, dietary
Good old
carbs.
fiber from plant-based foods.
It's fermented by gut bacteria into short-chain fatty acids, which have anti-inflammatory effects.
So we've got our immune-boosting shopping list, all these powerful nutrients.
Yeah.
But I guess it's important to remember that a balanced diet is always the best foundation, right?
Absolutely. Supplements can be helpful in specific cases, but a whole foods approach is always the ideal way to nourish your immune system.
Okay, deep divers, before we move on to exercise and the fascinating world of the gut microbiome, I want to take a moment to connect this back to you. What are your initial thoughts? What resonated with you most from this discussion so far?
It's fascinating how interconnected everything is, isn't it? We tend to think of our bodies in separate systems, but in reality, it's all a beautiful web of interactions.
You're so right, and I think that really highlights the importance of a holistic approach to health, looking at the bigger picture and how all these pieces fit together.
Absolutely. And that brings us to another crucial piece of the puzzle: exercise.
Yes, I've always been curious about how exercise impacts the immune system. The article we read said it mobilizes immune cells. What does that even mean? Does it mean that if I sprint to the grocery store, my immune cells will get there faster?
Well, not quite like that, but you're on the right track. Think of it this way. When you exercise, especially moderate intensity exercise, you're essentially boosting immune surveillance. It increases the circulation and tissue penetration of immune cells. They can patrol your body more effectively and respond to threats faster.
So it's like sending out more patrols to scout for invaders. That makes sense. But, I've also heard that really intense exercise can actually suppress the immune system. Is there any truth to that?
That's a great question, and you're right, there is some truth to it. Strenuous exercise like marathon running can temporarily suppress certain immune functions. It's like your body is prioritizing its resources to cope with the physical stress. But in the long run, regular moderate exercise has been shown to have a net positive effect on immune health. It's all about balance.
Okay, so finding that sweet spot between pushing ourselves and allowing our bodies to recover is key. Fascinating. So we fueled our immune system with a balanced diet. We've got those immune cells mobilized and ready for action. What's next on our journey to immune system optimization?
Well, we've touched on it briefly, but it's time to delve into the fascinating world of the gut microbiome.
Yes, the gut microbiome. It's amazing how much research is emerging about the gut's influence on overall health and particularly immunity. I have to admit it's a bit mind-blowing to think about this hidden ecosystem within us.
It truly is remarkable. We're talking about trillions of bacteria residing in our gut, influencing everything from digestion to mental health, and of course the immune system. And what's even more remarkable is that we can actually shape this ecosystem through our diet and lifestyle choices. It's like we have a say in who gets to live in this internal world and who gets evicted.
Okay, that's a great image. And I remember we talked about prebiotics and probiotics earlier.
Yeah.
How do those fit into the gut microbiome picture?
Right, so prebiotics are essentially food for the beneficial bacteria in our gut. They help those good guys flourish. Think of them as fertilizer for your gut garden.
Yeah.
Dietary fiber is a great example of a prebiotic. Then you have probiotics, which are live beneficial bacteria that we can introduce directly into our gut through fermented foods or supplements.
So prebiotics are like setting the table
Mm-hmm.
and probiotics are like bringing in the guests.
Exactly. And the research clearly shows that a healthy, diverse gut microbiome, one with lots of different types of good bacteria, is linked to a stronger immune system.
It all comes back to diversity, doesn't it? Both in our diets and in our gut microbiome.
Absolutely. And here's something that might surprise you. Gut health can even influence respiratory infections. We tend to think of the gut and the lungs as separate entities, but there's a fascinating connection between them.
Really, tell me more. I had no idea.
There's a growing body of research exploring what's called the gut-lung axis. It turns out that the bacteria in our gut can actually influence the immune response in our lungs. For example, certain beneficial bacteria have been shown to produce compounds that help protect against respiratory infections. So a healthy gut can actually help strengthen your defenses against colds and flus.
Yeah, wow, that's incredible. It really highlights just how interconnected everything is.
It does, and it's one of the reasons why I find the gut microbiome so fascinating. There's still so much we don't know, but the more we learn, the more we realize its profound impact on our health.
It's like a whole new frontier of scientific discovery, right?
Exactly, and it's one that I encourage you to keep exploring on your own. There are so many resources available now: books, podcasts, websites dedicated to understanding and optimizing gut health.
That's a great tip.
Okay.
Deep divers. Let's pause here for a moment and reflect. We've covered nutrition, exercise, the amazing world of the gut microbiome. What's standing out to you so far? What's resonating with you the most? It's amazing to think that we can actually, like, influence the health of our gut microbiome through our choices.
Yeah,
It's empowering.
it is.
But,
Yeah.
as much as we can try to optimize our health,
Right.
there's one thing we can't escape, and that's aging. And I know we touched on it briefly with those macrophages.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to, like, learn more about how aging affects the immune system as a whole. Is it just a matter of everything slowing down a bit, or is there more to it?
It's definitely more nuanced than just things slowing down.
Yep.
As we age, our immune system undergoes a gradual but significant decline in function. It's a process called immunosenescence.
Immunosenescence.
And it affects almost every aspect of our immune
That
response.
sounds a bit ominous.
It might sound a bit intimidating, but it's a natural part of life.
Okay.
Essentially, as we age, our immune system produces fewer new immune cells, and the cells we do have aren't as effective at responding to pathogens. Plus, we tend to have more inflammation throughout the body, which can further dampen the immune response.
It's not just that our cells become less efficient, but it's that we have, like, fewer soldiers on the battlefield, so to speak.
Exactly. And this decline in immune function helps explain why older adults are more susceptible to infections, autoimmune disorders, and even cancer.
Yeah.
The immune system plays a crucial role in all of these areas.
That makes sense. But it's a bit disheartening, to be honest. Is there anything we can do to counteract these age-related changes, or are we just kind of stuck with a gradual decline?
It's definitely not a hopeless situation. There's a lot we can do to support healthy aging, and that includes supporting our immune system.
So it's not about stopping the clock, but about aging gracefully, so to
Yeah,
speak.
exactly. Lifestyle choices play a huge role maintaining a healthy weight, eating a balanced diet, getting regular exercise, and managing stress. All of these things can have a positive impact on the aging process of the immune system.
That's encouraging. And I remember we talked about specific nutrients like vitamin E
Yeah.
being particularly helpful for immune function in older adults. Are there any other nutrients that are showing promise in this area?
Yes, absolutely. Vitamin D is another one that's getting a lot of attention.
Okay.
Studies have shown that maintaining adequate vitamin D levels is crucial for immune function as we age. And zinc is another key player, as it's involved in so many different immune processes.
So it all comes back to nourishing our bodies with the right nutrients, no matter our age.
It really does, and the research in this area is constantly evolving. Scientists are uncovering new insights all the time about the specific nutrients and compounds that can support immune health throughout the lifespan.
It sounds like there's a lot to be hopeful about. Even though immunosenescence is a natural part of aging, we have more control than we might think.
I completely agree. By adopting a proactive approach to health, we can empower our immune systems to age gracefully and continue to protect us well into our later years.
Well said.
Wow.
Okay, deep divers, we've covered so much ground in this deep dive into the immune system. We've explored its intricate workings, the factors that can weaken it, and the powerful ways we can strengthen it through nutrition, exercise, and even by nurturing our gut microbiome. What a journey.
It has been a fascinating exploration, and I hope it's empowered you with knowledge and a sense of agency over your own health.
Me too. Remember, this deep dive is just the beginning. The world of health and wellness is constantly evolving. So stay curious, keep learning, and don't be afraid to dive deeper into any topic that sparks your interest. Who knows what incredible discoveries you might make.
I always say knowledge is power, especially when it comes to our health.
I couldn't agree more. Well, that brings us to the end of another deep dive. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay well.